Welcome back to XRP Insider Network, the channel where we break down what the headlines won't tell you, what the insiders are whispering about, and what could be coming next for XRP. If you value real analysis over noise, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss what's unfolding. Now listen closely, because what I'm about to share today is not being discussed openly in most crypto circles, and it's definitely not being framed honestly by mainstream media. This is one of those moments where the pieces are lining up quietly, and by the time the crowd notices, the opportunity window may already be closing. Here's the thing. For years, XRP holders have been told the same story. Be patient. The case needs time. Adoption is coming, but slowly. But what if the real moves have already been happening behind the scenes and the delay wasn't about uncertainty? It was about timing. Because what insiders are watching right now is not another hype cycle, it's a structural shift. And XRP sits right in the middle of it. Let me break this down carefully. Not hype, not hopium, just connective dots that most people are ignoring. First, you need to understand why XRP has always been treated differently. From day one, XRP wasn't designed to be a meme asset, and it wasn't built to live purely inside retail speculation loops. It was engineered for liquidity, settlement speed, and scale. That's not a narrative, that's architecture. And this is exactly why .content reference, Oisite R0, Durindex 00 has spent more time in boardrooms than on Twitter. While other projects chased hype, Ripple focused on infrastructure relationships, regulatory frameworks, and payment corridors. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The public battle between Ripple and the content reference, OA site Index 1, was never just about XRP's classification. That's the surface story. Underneath it, the real fight was about jurisdiction, precedent, and who controls the rails of next generation payments. Look, regulators don't pick random targets. They choose strategically. And XRP wasn't chosen because it was weak. It was chosen because it was early, efficient, and dangerously capable of rewriting how value moves globally. Here's the part most people missed. While the lawsuit dragged on publicly, private conversations never stopped. Banks didn't suddenly forget Ripple existed. Institutions didn't erase XRP from their models. They paused public exposure while continuing private evaluation. That's not speculation. That's how regulated finance works. Now, fast forward to what's happening right now. Liquidity stress is quietly spreading across global markets. Correspondent banking is breaking down. Settlement delays are becoming more expensive. And governments are under pressure to modernize payment systems without destabilizing their currencies. This is where XRP's design suddenly becomes very uncomfortable for legacy systems, because XRP doesn't just move fast, it eliminates the need for pre-funded Nostro and Vostro accounts. It compresses settlement risk, and it does it without requiring every participant to trust each other directly. Now ask yourself this. In a world facing tighter liquidity and higher capital requirements, why would institutions cling to slow, expensive rails when a bridge asset already exists? Here's the insider angle. Multiple financial plumbing upgrades are happening simultaneously. Tokenization frameworks, instant settlement pilots, cross-border liquidity experiments, and none of these systems can function at scale without a neutral, highly liquid intermediary asset. This is why XRP keeps appearing in places where retail investors aren't allowed to look yet. And this is where the timing matters. If XRP were fully embraced 5 years ago, the regulatory environment wasn't ready. If it were embraced 2 years ago, the macro conditions weren't stressful enough. But now the pressure is real. Here's something you won't hear on crypto Twitter. Institutions don't move when things are calm. They move when inefficiencies become dangerous. And that's exactly where we are. Now, I want to talk about the global layer, because this isn't just about the US. Payment systems don't respect borders. Liquidity flows don't care about politics. Organizations like the .content reference, Owaysite, or Index 2 have been openly discussing faster settlement, tokenized money, and interoperable ledgers. They don't name XRP directly in press releases, but the technical requirements they describe line up perfectly with what XRP already does. This is where the so-called insider leak energy comes from. It's not a single document, it's a pattern. Regulatory clarity slowly locking into place, institutional pilots quietly expanding, liquidity infrastructure being rebuilt from the inside out, and retail is distracted by price candles. Let me be very clear here. This is not a guarantee of price action tomorrow. Anyone telling you that is lying. What this is a setup, a structural positioning moment. Markets don't reward understanding immediately, they reward patience right before recognition. Think about this. Once large scale systems flip to real time settlement, there's no gradual transition. You don't half upgrade global finance. When the switch happens, liquidity demand changes overnight. And assets that already meet those requirements don't need to be rebuilt, they just need to be activated. This is why XRP's silence is louder than most projects' marketing. Now, let me ask you something important. Why do you think so many narratives try to frame XRP as old news? Why does it get dismissed despite surviving regulatory warfare, market cycles, and technological shifts? Because the most dangerous asset is the one people stop watching right before it's needed. And look, this is exactly why I appreciate you being here. If this breakdown is helping you see the bigger picture, make sure you like this video and stay subscribed to XRP Insider Network. We don't chase noise here, we track structural shifts. As we move forward, expect volatility, expect misinformation, expect emotional swings. That's what happens before repricing events. But remember this, when the system needs speed, neutrality, and liquidity at scale, it won't ask Twitter for permission. It will choose what already works. And XRP has been working quietly this entire time. The question isn't whether something is happening. The question is whether you recognize it before the rest of the market is forced to.